Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back here. And we had a guy now like a great topic suggestions yesterday. I want to give the credit to Lorna. Lorna, thank you. It's kind of like a very good topic, and we're gonna be talking about my twin flame and soulmate. We're drifting apart. What to do? What is it? The things how to get this adjustments within yourself you to get to this level, what you should do, how you should do it, and so forth and so forth with that. When these things happens, actually, in there, you gotta find the reasons why you're drifting apart. Are you drifting apart because your emotional state, physical needs, if you're still operating of the old understanding, are you drifting apart because the frequency really doesn't match in there anymore? Why it doesn't match? Why was it matching before? Why is it not matching now? The other thing is when this drifting apart is when you exhausted in a way of the energies. You exhausted everything they could have done together. There is no more you can do, and the universe says like it's time for you to drift in apart, to charge, and so forth. There is so many actual reasons. But talking about with this, we're gonna be discussing some of those stuff up here, and I want to say, Laura, hi, thank you, and again, thank you for the great topic. And I'm gonna be giving you Paulina. All right.
Yeah, this is really what community needs because we were looking, kind of scanning through what is the current state of community, and it looks like that's what people need. That they need to have this understanding that we are not supposed to cling on things here, and this is the lesson for us to be okay with whatever our life has for us. And so the sooner we are able to kind of accept that this is the constant flow of energies, we are just the vessels here, and accept to go through the certain people for as long as necessary. I think it makes those things a little bit easier. Of course, the tricky part is sometimes we have too much emotional attachments to certain people, and we are still operating maybe from this old programming, that once you find a person who brings you those energies, or you can experience it with them, like that's gonna be like your default state until the end of the journey. Well, you're gonna be learning as you go that it's not the case. Like, we are not really, there is no definition here, and it can, for some people, yes, it can last a lifetime, but I think it really needs, it depends on our personal needs, on what you as a human being need here in order to progress. And it's really hard to kind of capture like why for some people the connections seem to be last longer, for some it's kind of dissolving sooner. The way I see it is, the sooner you're able to get the whole benefit from the connection that was presented to you, and you've done enough healing and enough understandings, and your frequency upgraded, and you're in those higher frequencies, sometimes it just happens that that's the level where your helper, other soul connection was able to help you with. And after this point, you're reaching this point of the gates that we were saying. It's, you have to cross over, but sometimes you cannot join with your current partner to cross over. So hopefully it's gonna be a nice discussion. And here I would like to really encourage people to share their experiences, their views. How do they feel? Have they experienced this kind of moments of dissolving, and how to deal with that? Because it's, again, I guess we can talk about our experience, but it's also interesting to hear other people's stories. So hi again, and hi
It's
Lorna.
it's good to ask questions in there because there is so many scenarios throughout the years working with a lot of the twin flames in there, particularly of this. Why do the connections dissolving? Why I don't have a feelings anymore for my twin flame? Why I don't sense them in there? Well, there is another case during the separations process is like constantly feeling it, constantly thinking about it. Constantly they're present where you disconnect from the actual present that you are within. And they don't resonate with you. They don't really resonate with your positions in there. I started making those series on the main channel, my main channel in there, of the primary thought and three outcomes between the twin flames. Kind of going to bring in this up there, that it can look like you're drifting apart in there. First of all, because they have not done certain work. So this is one of the reasons why you have to go back and work on yourself. If you look at it when you're by yourself, as a single in there, you need to go back and revise the things that you do. What are you thinking? What is your processes? In there, you can go to the positive or you can go to the negative. The negative is going to shift you back into the positive. When you understand your negative stuff, it's like, okay, this is what I needed to work. A lot of the people, they escaping the person, but they meet the same person, just in different body, because they have to process these energies. They have to engage within these energies in there, or within exactly the same person, which is, that is a shifting into the next level. It's like when you're drifted apart, you work on yourself, then you can come back together. That is also, there is a lot of scenarios. We can talk about those scenarios over and over and over within again, but take a look at it, the frequencies match. What you cannot resolve it together. Why medically issues, emotional lack of progress of processing emotions, unhealed emotions in there. Don't forget the emotions is actually energies in a way in there. And well, it's also, it have to do some to do with purge. Okay, so you're upgrading yourself, you're learning new learnings, but the old learnings are still within you. So you have to look at it. You operate, as Paulina said, from the old learnings and there. And the purge is actually needed. So learn clearing patterns that don't serve us as a whole. Exactly. What does not serve you as a whole when you are in this together and so forth, you let it go, you work it out, and you see, is that something that we need to work it out, or that is an area of improvement? And that is the stage of the evolution. The evolution comes in and pulls you up. But as the evolution pulls you up, your job is not to fight the evolution, because you're holding for something down. So if you're here and evolution pulls you up, but if you're holding something down, guess what? You're fighting this. And since your partner, it is right there, it sees that your ability and the evolution is pull you up, but you're not doing the things, you're not doing the right stuff, then your partner begins to either help you out as a power of the twin flame soulmate, that's the lift you up, and you to kind of like let it go of the stuff, or they actually begin to drifting so much apart that this frequency in there does not anymore resonate there. There is no anything like this, like what's going on with that there. So it's been through this for, and a lot of the people have a mistake in there, that when they're drifting apart, they don't process the emotions. They're quickly looking for a replacement. Well, they should have to take time, process the unprocessed emotions. Probably that's going to be grief. That's going to be this lower energies to understand why they came into it. And this is one crucial element. But it's good if you communicate with the person. But if you don't communicate with the person, ask yourself why. This is the why is going to be showing you the problem, but it's also going to be the solutions of how in there too. So,
and the problem is sometimes the people are afraid to talk about it because it may really lead to the separation, but the conscious separation. Sometimes we are facing those situations that our connection is kind of taken away from us, the moments that we believe that everything is perfect and everything is proper and we are on the same frequency, why it happens. But if you look back through those cases and try to see why the universe would be taking away the person from your life back then, you will see that that was necessary for growth. And the same way, things get a little bit more complicated if you kind of increase your awareness to the point that you know exactly that you are in a soul connection and you're in something that was orchestrated by universe. Like, you know how this process goes. But at the same time, you kind of sense this vibrational mismatch can try to appear, and it can be caused by different things. Like, we are just supposed to continue our past a little bit different way, and if we want to stay true to ourselves, we cannot continue go the same way. Sometimes it can be that your intuition will be saying to you that this connection is not serving you anymore. There was a certain clearing that was necessary, maybe some training, because we are practicing with each other until we are able to really build those healthy connections. So with this, I would also encourage people not to be afraid and just look for this one definite soul connection that you will stick and you will be forever and ever. Like, it takes practice for you to know yourself, and at the same time, the right connection will be staying. Because if the energies are balanced with you, it's gonna be easier to maintain the balance within the connection. So that's one thing to remember, that if things are falling apart, it may seem that like certain parts of the lesson has been learned. Sometimes it happens when you're finally capture some patterns that you tended to repeat. Maybe you were attracting certain partners, and finally after fourth or fifth connection you realize, oh, actually they all had some kind of similarities, but I see this is not proper. Like, I don't want to do those relationships this way anymore. I think I've outgrown this concept. So then there will be natural dissolution of the connection, because why would you keep yourself in something that's not serving you? At the same time, your higher self won't be keeping you with something that is not serving you anymore. So that's something to be expecting as you grow and as you heal, that you cannot stick forever with certain individuals. Like, we are helping each other a lot, but sometimes also we have to be those teachers, or maybe those examples of people who know what they need and they know their level of evolution and awareness, and they consciously choose not to engage with certain energies anymore, because they will be keeping you in this lower expression of relationships, for example. So I know it's tricky because people would rather just stick with some connection instead of doing their work and progressing out of this fear of going on their own, because they are afraid that they won't have another soul connection. They'd rather just stick around while the intuition might be telling them, and maybe even in 3D it's gonna be manifesting, energetically it's gonna be expressed, that you're meant to be going your own way. And that's a little bit tricky when this emotional expression comes into play, or maybe you don't want to hurt someone's feelings because you feel like someone is engaged with the connection, but you see, like, it's really, there is nothing on an energetic level that you see necessary anymore. So this is it has a lot of to do with your being true to your own self, and not being afraid to speak whatever you feel, because as we say here, like, it's all the preparation. If in a certain moment, if there is a soul connection that you're not able to express your true feelings, how are you gonna enter the next or even the same connection from this awareness and respect and truth? Like, it really requires a lot of strength and courage. So all of those connections, it doesn't matter how long they take and how much time they last. Like, they last as long as they need, but all of them are a great tool for you to learn to be yourself and not be afraid to say if something is wrong, and not be afraid at the same time to go on your own if that's required.
The gratitude, yes, you gotta be happy for all the connections that are coming to you in there. Also, seeing it within yourself in there. Why is so crucial though to see it in yourself? Okay, take a look at how you operate. Some of the people they're operating when too fast. They go from uh, the positive way to the negative way, then again to the positive, then again to the negative way. And this is kind of like a creates this lack of positions of how to navigate, how to process in there. While those kind of like positive and negative energies, when you kind of like separate them within you, in there, you put the positive, you know where to go, you put the negative, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You don't have this anymore, this up and downs and so forth within you, and you see what is your connections is. Because, for example, if it's the one person, it strikes out they're positive and they're negative, and here is it coming in their connections that come with this positive and negative, creates these distortions within the relationships in there. And when you see in it, what is that teaching you? Maybe you still have this positive negative. You go up and down, within your emotions, too quick, too fast, too furious. You want to be just fixing it as, while everything it's asking you for organizing this distortions that it's in there within you, to understanding this. And when the connections it comes in there, to you can't just go out there and everything that was organized right now it has to be organized. So you need to look at it the both sides. Are you over organized and put boundaries, limitations in there that maybe prevent you for the evolutions to comes in and pulls you up, or you just need some this charges like let's go doing this quick and faster. Sometimes we experiencing this quick and faster when the connection is just like goes. I mean, we can do a job that we cannot have done it for like let's say 2 weeks. We can do it just for like a quick, let's say 10 or 15 minutes. Why? Because everything it has been sorted out, everything is put into a perspective, and it's working on it. But when you're dealing with someone who's not working on it, then this dissonance in there, because the one person it's operate on a one different frequency while the other operates on an order. So you cannot kind of like a matching all those in there from within, because there is no vibrations of positive and negative. It's just straight lines too. So when you understand, you have to combine both within yourself to understand what is distort in there, what is distort within a partner, for you will understand what are you standing at. But if you're drifting apart from within, look at the reasons. The key there, it is to see the reasons. What you cannot overcome, what you cannot organize, and what the other person cannot organize through your eyes. And if you have mature, proper, spiritual conversations without you taking anything personally, this is your benefit of the connection. Okay? But if you're drifting on a part and the one person is like, you know what, I don't want to talk, I've been like this before. And this is the moment when it doesn't matter what side you are. I've been through this before. What are you going to do? 90% of the people, they're going to be drifting apart, they're going to separate. 10%, they're going to be continue going. The 10% is going to continue going. They are like, I've been like this before. It's time for me to put this in order. I face it with this, I face it with that, I had it with this, I had it with this, and so forth. Oh, I am the runner from this. But there is this awakening of awareness that it's coming in. We talk about here, particularly about the power of the awareness up here in the channel with. And this is what makes you advanced. This is how you're advancing with this. But if you're drifting and apart and in there and your separations, take a look at it, what the universe, the third energy that it's present, that creates the connection, what did you came for? Because you may be drifting apart because of your personality, you're taking things personally, maybe from your ego, or needs. Oh, I need this, I need that, and so forth. I need someone to take care of me. I need this outside source to fix me up. And you're like, well, I cannot be constantly fix you up. You gotta be able to fix yourself through our communications, which shows up what it needs to be fixed because we're facing the same problem for two different directions. And here how from this unstable situation, which is up and down, you're both organizing. And then when you're organizing, you know what to purge as a couple, and you know how to advance as a couple. And but if you are don't have this awareness of the proper processes, then this connection basically doesn't have purpose. And when the connection loses its purpose because of whatever reasons in there, then that is naturally dissolution. And this natural dissolutions, it's you're not gonna have grudges towards the person. Everything is already exhausted. You okay? They're okay. You don't have any emotions. You don't feel guilt, shame, and anything in there. You don't have a grief. That it's kind of like telling you that this is solved. Okay, in a most proper way. Basically, on your journey as evolving, you're meeting a people, you meet this person, you had this relationship, you have these connections. Namaste. I have to go up. You can stay here because through the journey, you might meeting guides. You're gonna meet some people. You're gonna meet some connections that continue to help you in there. But when you actually, as Paulina said, crossing over in there, then you will understand why was all this. Most people don't crossing over of the problem that creates separations because of the lack from within itself understanding and awareness of what that tries to teach you.
No, it's a good point, but that's all you said. It's assuming that both sides are engaged and both sides are mature enough to have those conversations, like vulnerable conversations, so they both say, oh, I see that something is going on here, and you're both engaged to the same level, like you give it all to the connection, and I'm not saying desperately try to fix it, it's just you're engaged with a certain person and that's all your focus. It's not like you have some other connections in mind, or it's like hard for me to imagine the scenario. It may happen, but most of the time I would say if people are really consciously engaged with each other and fully aware and they want to make it work, and especially if the third energy was asking them to perform in the first place, why would be the reason for them to suddenly get separated? Like they still have, as long as you have open communication with someone and you overcome issues together, like there's always something that you learn. The only issue begins when one person is ready to work and another person keeps repeating the old cycles and old patterns that are not correct. And one person will keep doing the work and they will say, okay, I see this is not healthy, like this has to go from my life, that has to go from my life. But if the other person cannot see this progress and they are not operating from this new understanding and this higher frequencies, and then they don't want to manifest those higher frequencies here on earth, there is no interest from this energy standpoint to keep maintaining and supporting those two people. So of course the energy doesn't want to be wasted. They will be redirecting you towards someone who can actually do the work for you. So with this in mind, I wanted to maybe remind everyone that there is this concept that once the connection dissolved, like it's probably you did something wrong. Well, no, maybe you did everything correct, but this current connection is not what you're worth of. Maybe there is something better for you because you've done so much work that you deserve fully conscious connection, not in this 5D realms, something that can manifest here on 3D. But in order to give it a chance, you need to give it the freedom. You need to know what kind of vessel actually can bring those higher energies here on earth and manifest them with you together. So this is this part. There is no really failures. And if the universe brings you some connection, doesn't mean that you have to hold on to it until the end. Just you have to, as Dio said, like you come to this peaceful state that you wish everyone well, and if they want to stay, and you will feel that this connection is kind of supports itself, that's the right thing to do. But that means that you're learning your lesson, but you learn those lessons together. You're not repeating lessons that you already see. It's like, I don't want that. Like, this is really not healthy. This is not mature. I'm done. I think I'm deserving to move up, towards this more balanced connections. And if someone cannot perform, well, this is your choice. Do you want to keep sitting in an old, or do you want to be like your own supporter and say, okay, this doesn't serve me, I'm sorry, but this has to go, because I'm tired of repeating my own mistakes, and I believe that I deserve, or I want to have more conscious connection. So those are those moments that maybe people from the first time in their lives, they will say no to something. They will say, okay, I don't care if the universe bring me as a lesson, I appreciate it, but I see it cannot last. Like it dissolved, it exploited itself. So it's not like you really reject and block everything. You recognize the connection was there, but you feel that there is something else, like you need to cross over. So instead of holding, because once it was orchestrated 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, and I have to sit in there while the lesson is learned, like you've progressed, right? Like you've done healing. And then sometimes those dissolutions are this natural path of the process, because you need to get redirected if there is something else that matches your vibration higher, like on the higher level.
Talking about this, reaching out on a higher level. This solution in there for it's kind of like in a 3Ds when you go through divorce, you sign this dissolutions of marriage situations in there. But when you taking it into the accounts within yourself, look at it. This, as Paulina said, the answer was no. See, if you go back in time with all your relationships, why did you left the relationships? Have you ever looked at it on that? But you're operating from a pattern that you are constantly there. It's like, oh, they don't give it this, they don't give it that, blah, blah. Right? But at the same time, to look at it yourself, there is, I am the right person. Okay, and you're going to be drifting apart from one on another, because all your inner war clashes is going to come into you, while if everything is done with internal peace, okay, and most people don't operate from that internal peace. They haven't been crossed over to that using of that energy of the inner peace, because there's a lack of the truth in there. But when the one person operates from the truth, and the other person, as Paulina said, has not been even processing there for, if that is the case, and it's kind of like the one person is suffocating and the one person is really taking off, for, what do you have to do with that? You have to allow these connections to dissolve, but do it in the proper way. Okay, now if you need to understand that, let me put this in the proper words. Sometimes you are misunderstanding that drifting apart is actually separations to fix your own stuff there, and the misunderstandings in there can lead to a lot of failures within understanding of the whole process there. But you also have to look at it if the connections already exhausted its own purpose. Once that is done in there, you will see that neither either have a support from the universe in there, either you don't resonate with those energies. It kind of like a disconnect to yourself. And if you look at the disconnections in there, that was one of the personal disconnections. As I was talking to a while back, here's the one person, here is the other person, and the top is the divine. You see, when all those three they're working together, that's fine. But if the one person disconnects from the divine, now there is this energy that from the one person it's got the connection there and it's got the connections with the divine, but the other person cannot process that connection with the divine in there. And now the divine says, like, well, since this energy cannot move anywhere because you're going up and downs, this energy has to be dissolved. It doesn't serve its purpose of this creation. And sometimes the universe is going to be creating this drifting apart. If that's happened in there, if you're the person who has the divine connection and the connections to the partner, follow up the divine. They know what to do. They've seen things, they know things that you don't know. Okay? If you're the person who actually has been rejected, you rejected the divine connections, you look at it and operating, why did this happen to you? And sometimes this hold in there, you put the things in hold, you put this stagnancy in there, you're just holding to that physical realm, but there is no spiritual realm here. And then what you do is like, oh, I missed them, or I want him, or so forth and so forth. While the other person is like, come on, go back within your senses, within your soul. Go see how the things are going to be there. But if the person can't, you need to understand it's time to let it go. And you disconnecting from that person who anymore in there, they're going to have to go out there and they're working themselves. Can they come back and reconnect with everything? That is entirely up to them. If they're going to do the proper inner work. Your job is to keep with the divine. Okay? Keep with the divine. And this side here, and the 3D, keep your options open. Okay? A lot of the people mistaken at this as a liberty. It's like, I kind of like have this person, but I can go ahead and I'm open. I can go ahead and screw this up, and I can have this connection, so forth and so forth, and then you lose the divine. Okay, so much, so many different configurations, guys, within this drifting apart. But when you drift apart, as I said, look the reasons. There are the answers. The shift that is happening, it is because of you looking deep within the stuff. You're not just like looking at the things on the surface. You're going deep within you, deep within the energies, deep within the with the awareness, deep within the understanding. You operate from that new personality because you put everything in order, like a puzzle that is put in order. Because you're coming from a background in there when everything is mixed. You don't know what this is, what that it is. No, you don't even know where you put your things on it. This is that distorts energies, right? Because your mind is operate too many things at the same time. When you put this into a perspective in there, things is gonna be okay. But again, to go back into this lack of resonance, when at the one person drifting apart, pay attention to the negative patterns. Let me tell you why. Those are the triggers. Because somehow, some way, either the one or the other or the divine triggered the negative patterns to happen. You to understand the negative side. Without you to negative understanding the negative side in there, you won't be able to transmute, to transform that energies to a proper orders. Okay? Because there is no positive and there is no negative. It's just the reflections of directions of the energies where you do and how what kind of frequency you're gonna be using it. that's coming through the magnetic fields. All right. So this is what you have to see, but have the awareness. If you really need to let it go of the person, let it go of the person. But you need to have trust, faith, courage inside of you in there, and the power of let it go and move on. Don't forget there is a three laws: trust, surrender, and let go. Add three of them. Okay.
Yeah, but I think also it depends what you have in mind when you do that, right? Like what are you putting, like what would be the reason for you, let's say, stepping away from the connection? Is it your fear because you're afraid of confrontation? Are you afraid to make the necessary fixes or maybe changes in yourself? Or is it like you are following your own inner guidance, and it's not like you're rejecting the energetic world, and it's just you're still able to work, but then the 3D reality doesn't match your current state of the work that you want to perform here? Because it was coming to me like we are talking about this co-creations, and sometimes it happens that you, in order to co-create your reality in this new way, you have to step up and you have to set the new rules. What will be these new expressions of your new self, and what will be the patterns of the relationships that you want to start building? What are the traits for your partners to be, not only partners, but just all the connections, the relationships that you want to start building from now on? And it's like the universe didn't necessarily bring those people around you to begin with, but you, by sending the signal out, by making your choices, you're defining your new expressions of this reality, what you really want to perform. And sometimes it just has to start with you, that you will say, okay, I really, all around me, I see nothing that is really matching my own core belief systems right now. I think I have to step away from all of it. I don't care. I'm gonna start building from the scratch with this faith that, the right people will always resonate with you, and they will be attracted to you once you become that. So it's like, this is this natural process that we are always given choices, and it's up to you to say no to the things that they are not matching you anymore. And again, you're not really going against anything like divine or anything like that. If you put this higher picture in the perspective, I really don't see that there is nothing wrong with that, because we are not operating from this place of luck, right? Like, you're just not resisting really anything, but you feel that you're responsible for just making those choices, like to kind of start this process of changing. Because if you don't make those choices, you won't send the right frequency out there, so the right reality cannot match to this new way that you want to co-create. So that's how I saw it. It has to start from you. And as I said before, for some people it's a new concept to kind of go against something that has been manifested in their reality, like talking about their needs or saying that, oh, I really don't want that anymore. I used to enjoy that, maybe this served me for some moment, but it doesn't anymore. And if someone cannot respect that, well, and I've had those choices to be made, like I had to say someone that, no, I need more time, I need this, or I need you to respect my way of doing things. And the person was not able to accept that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna move. And then, that's how I was creating this space for putting myself first. And then from that, the rest of things was unfolding. But the way I see it, that was a lesson. That was a lesson for me to act according to my own needs. So that's what I wanted to say. But also, there was something you were saying about this, how we create this field with a third energy, and sometimes it just kind of gets broken. So at any point, if some of those things happening, and they seem to happen sometimes even only on an energetic level, while on 3D level the things may seem perfect. And I've experienced that. I'm not sure if Theo also experienced that, but there was some kind of like level of separation that was like we are supposed to go our own ways. And I'm like, okay, there are energies, some parts of ourselves are meant to travel somewhere. It's okay, like what can I do? But let me wait until I see how it's really manifesting in 3D, if it really manifests. So sometimes those separations are necessary. We need to allow things to go away, and it's on all dimensions, right? Like sometimes we let it go and just let this energetic world to sort its own stuff, but sometimes we have to let go consciously on 3D. But all of that is just trying to remove this resistance. Like you're really okay with this flow because it really tries to align itself. But if you create a resistance because you want to hold on to something, or there are certain choices that you're being asked to do but you keep hold on to because you're afraid, like that, this is this part of your responsibility in creating the new ways.
One of the reasons in there that right now is just take a look. One of the reasons if you're drifting apart, okay, you are not able to separate the seeds from the weeds. See, the one person maybe want to keep the weeds, thinking that is the seeds, and the other person is like removing, purging the weeds, and collecting only the seeds there. So with all those situations is in there, if you, as Paulina said, you may feel like a part of the separations. It is you to seek within the truth. You step out, you see things in there, because maybe it's only a drifting for a certain amount of time till you sort things out. But the sort things out is exactly this, to take the seeds and take the weeds. The weeds is sending out to dry out, to recycle its energies, to purge, to remove. The seed is the one you're going to put to the ground. Okay? You can put it into the connections. Let it create something. Okay? Can you create something with weeds? You already know the answer. Can you create something with seeds? You also know the answers. So, what do you think about the disconnection that appear to stop expanding?
Can I talk on that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because right away it came to me. Like, it's really not very different than your first soul connection that you get engaged with. Like, you become, and you get connected right away, and there is attractions, and there is this exchange of energies and all this union, and then it goes away. So the only difference is really, the process is the same the way I see it. The only difference is if you progress, you're becoming less attached to the results, less attached to your emotions, and you don't put hopes towards something that just because it's something is misunderstood or something is new and intense and energetic and all these different dimensions, you still are not attached. So then, of course, you're becoming less attached to the results. So once it gets dissolved, you don't treat it as serious and you don't hold on to that as much as you try to hold on to the first connection. So the way I see it is like, it's because of your training. It's because you've expanded so much that you're okay with or without. And this union is a natural process because the connections are usually put in your path to achieve the union, to make this exchange, to just figure out your energies. Like, they need to give you something. You are supposed to give them something, and that's the union. But what happens is people think that the union is the definite expression that has to last. And if after union 3D situation is dissolving, that means like, oh my god, we are doing something wrong. Instead of saying, oh, we had a very beautiful and productive soul connections here. We've unified on those levels, as many levels as was necessary. Sometimes 3D level is not involved in those processes of union because there is another individual that can help you to complete it more and more levels. At least that's how I see it. But the problem is like, people, they think that there is a limit, and then once they reach something that they were able to experience this energetic expression with someone, they think that's it, that's the most ultimate expression, and they seem to panic the moment that something goes wrong or they begin to drift apart, while I believe they should naturally allow things to fall away because it's probably matched that it didn't serve the proper purpose anymore, because there was some probably community service included there, but both people together, they would not be able to perform. So that's why, again, at your best, just allowing things to unfold naturally. And if you're afraid that, for example, oh, if I let it go, that means that the person will never come back to my life. So I would say to this, it's as long as you are having your internal guidance, you're always guided to the proper person, to the person that can give you most growth, because that's how the energies work. They will be bringing you the best experiences to help you progress further. This is the kind of least resistance path, but they will be giving you the person that can facilitate your growth the fastest way. But if you keep resisting and you say, oh, I want this person to be my teacher and this person to kind of join me with my lessons, it may not be the most optimal, because you will keep repeating the old mistakes, old patterns, instead of helping each other to replay the new scenarios, the new way. So that's something that came to me in terms of this union and how it dissolves, and it's okay if it dissolves after union, in my opinion.
There is a lot to be said within this for so many situations, so many cases. I don't know how um, because people, we're talking about, as Paulina was talking about, these limitations in there. A lot of the programming that the union is wants you to achieve, or you've been in the physical union, or you guys are together, and so forth, and so on. That's gotta be forever. This must be forever and ever, ever, ever after, and so forth and so forth. And kind of like a programming. What is it from? So forth. It's so many programmings are out there and about this without the understanding that why do you really have to, be in this disconnection until you don't learn there to practice to give a freedom to your partner. You're not gonna be free yourself. We're still operating at like a misunderstanding of interdependence as a union. Okay, this is one of the two personalities. They're working the things out, and they have an exchange. That is what I will referring to this. But within this lack of the growth in there is going to be determining how you're going to be successful with this. One thing in there is I stated so many times in the videos, after the person you are with it stands against to the evolution. People, please understand this. Evolution has no mercy. Get it? And doesn't matter how much you're gonna fight. If you have a dissolution with somebody, the evolution may tells you this person is not good for you. This is not for it, and so forth. But you already have union. You already been in the physical union with them, and so forth, and so forth. There, but things didn't work out because of something that's there. And guess what? Who sees that? The evolution, and the evolution says, like, yeah, there you go. I have no mercy. I will separate you. Doesn't matter what you're going to. Doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve. Doesn't matter what it is. You're going in a panic mode. You're going to have a panic attacks because you are not listening. You're listening to respond, not to understand. And that is going to be separate you from kind of like this connections in there. The separations is going to start occurring because of lack of progress in there. It is actually the poison for the evolution. See, the evolution wants progress. While the evolution is here to help you to understand what you need to progress as on it. And some of the people still have this hold. First of all, they put their life on hold for that person to do the things. And a second of all, in there, they're putting halt in the evolution and nothing happens for years and years and years and years. While you're here to following within the evolution's path. And when you're finding that evolution's path, you are be awakened and aware of. Here is how is your process is gonna go. And then you were able to see that by cooperating to the evolution as an energy, what is leading you in there, that evolution it comes in to shake you up the weeds from you and give you the seeds of what you are going to become. So you're the seed, okay? You're the star seed, right? So this is this processes that come again with it, all right? But when you stop expanding, guess what? You're going against that evolution, and evolution is gonna be like, I can't work with you. Sorry. And you have to look at it. What was the area of concerns? You need to work on yourself.
The levels of preparation on a lower level than, let's call it on 4D. You know, that we keep engaging with some people who seem to be aware of energetic world, but still there is this a little bit of disconnect with their awareness, with this higher frequencies, like with their own internal guidance in terms of divine energies, divine guidance, that somehow, some way, they cannot seem to express their relationships or the way they would like to build a relationship based on those new principles. And the way I see it very often, those connections are, again, lessons. They are helping us to understand ourselves better, but ultimately we are capable of having this highly aware connections. But sometimes it's this is this part of the trust, right? Like when you see, hopefully internet is okay. Oh yeah, I don't know, today it's a little bit chunky, so I may just repeat, like I was just talking this, how we tend to attract higher and higher and higher dimensions in terms of relationships, and those people will be able to connect to us on a higher level all the time. But it's up to us to put a limit on that, because when you were kind of talking about this expanding, why we can expand until the center a certain level, what if we together are not able to expand further? Like somehow, some way, our collective field there is a limit to it. Because the way I was really seeing it is like we just mix and match between those different connections, different individuals. But we're gonna be put on our way certain individuals for us to experience union with them, but the only purpose is for us to get higher. And that's why how Lorna was saying about the gratitude. Yes, we have to be grateful for them, because if you're able to be grateful for the connection, even if it went your way, and you start seeing, oh, that was necessary for my growth, thank you. That just it shows you that you've passed this stage of the connection. You know, you are okay in any way it manifested, so you let it go and you release the attachments, and then you're creating the more space in your field to bring more stuff into your field, because you don't have any resistance, everything flows as much as it wants. And that's how you train yourself, just being open and surrender, right? Like we are not here to control those things. The only issue is like people like to control how long the relationships have to last. And so many times, even I've experienced, there is certain level of release and let go I have to process. Like I'm processing grief as we would be separate, as we would, broke apart. But it's only for the sake of having the experience of that kind of like a separation, as if that's necessary in our growth as well. You have to experience certain levels of separation in different levels to learn this detachment, but the connection stays strong. So maybe as a like an example for some people, because they may also experience that, you may have perfectly working connection that will be just, it's there, it stays there, and it doesn't matter. You can surrender 1,000 times and say, I really don't need this person in my life, I'm okay on my own. But if that's the person that is supposed to work with me, I'm okay with that. And if the connection sustains itself, that's for you the best proof that that's the person that's supposed to do the work for you. You don't have to cling on to the person. You don't have to care whether or not they will be coming back. It's the connection that will be bringing yourself back. And sometimes your lives may seem to fall apart, but the connection still tries to keep it together. You don't have to force it. It's like, it's the connection that tries to force you to stay within, because you are sensing the support. The energies are still flowing. So just a little bit of example.
Yeah, sorry about the internet that it's lagging. Happened this before, as Paulina was talking about. This person work for you, but that person also is work with you. And if you kind of like are working out and it comes out of this energies for yourself in there, what do you do with that within yourself? But that's gonna ultimately leading to what you're gonna be working with them. You see, when two people coming together within that union and they put in together what they are going to do with together with these energies of evolution, they will know how to do and work with in there. So if you kind of like looking at in this situations for you're gonna be seeing it. And when I'm saying it, that you are gonna be seeing it, you're gonna be seeing it as a drifting apart. When that drifting apart is basically an opportunity for you. What was your expectations? What was your things? And did you work with that evolution? And if you do that in there, you work with the evolution. Evolution is never wrong. You see, the evolutions, it is the higher state of intuition. Because the evolutions, when you end up in a problem and you focus within your intuition, think, the evolution is coming and give the informations to the intuition. This is how I'm gonna do it. You did it, you find a new way, new things, new process, new situations is in there. But most of the people, guess what? Use the intuitions to see how the other people, old this old stuff's in there and so forth. Instead of having an operation with the evolution, you have the manipulation for somebody to do the job with the evolution. You not to do anything. You to be not part of it, right? And that can create a lot of people, so that they're gonna be drifting apart. So it's one last thing I want to give you guys before I give it to Paulina to close this session out. Always, 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 always look first in you. Okay? Look first and have the ability to kind of like take a moment. All right? Just like, okay, I see something in me. I need to do my inner work. You say that to your partner, they understand it. Okay? And you will see that the drifting apart maybe something you need to teach you on that. Okay? But if you go to your partner, it's like, hey, I need to do my inner work, and there is like, no, you gotta do things for me. Here is that distorted energies that you're drifting apart, and you have to be wise. You have to be wise because partners, they're supporting each other and they're understanding. They have to give time, energy, and space for the partner to fix them there. Or they now there is no abandonment. You just give them an opportunity. Okay, so That's all from me, guys.
Yeah, I think we can just wrap it up, like just to maybe to sum it up for everyone who may seem to have troubles, that get into this panic mode because the connection may seem to be a little bit dissolving or resolving. Have a look why you have problems with it, why it's causing you so much trouble, why it's causing you fears. Are you still afraid of something? Maybe you're still afraid to not have another chance anymore, or maybe you're afraid that, oh, I'm gonna be single again, or like lonely again. If you're single, that's good, but people like to call them lonely. So it shows you also, like, do you still have resistance with what the universe planned for you? Because the sooner you resolve those resistances, you will start seeing, oh, that's the time to let some people go, let them go. And then you see, okay, that means I will have more time for myself. I will have time to process all the lessons and all those energies that we exchange with each other. And you see immediately you just enter this gratitude stage instead of, oh my God, I have no control over it, and you panic and you're sad. The sadness is a real thing, and it's good to experience that, especially that you need to process the grief after all the connections, even before they really end, or maybe they don't even have to end. But so many times I was talking to a few people that they were processing the losing someone, although they are not going anywhere. It's just this weird process on an emotional level that you have to make yourself free and strong, that you're like, I'm okay to lose this person, like I'm still me for myself. And I believe this is part of this inner work with inner child, that you need to always be in this freedom space, that you're always good on your own, and then from this moment you enter into the connection without the fear, right? So thank you very much, everyone who came. Thanks, Laura, for comments. And if anyone has any more questions about that, we may expand a little bit more. But I think that's it for now. I think we exhausted it pretty nicely. So,
Oh, it was a very
thanks.
good
Oh,
video.
Adam came.
Hi, Adam.
Adam.
Morning to you. To you. Yeah, go and rewatch it in there, and I want to apologize first for the connections, but it's Mercury retrograde. What are you gonna do? It is what it is. Technologies operates with the same things. Yeah. So when you guys have any questions, suggestions from us, please connect to us. We have a website. You can look at the website. You can connect to us through our Facebook. You can actually make a suggestion even here at the channel, and we will try to do our best in there to help you to understand. Once you understand, that understanding is going to help you to sort it out, the weeds from the seeds within you, and you're going to be a much better state. Okay, and that's all we're here for. We're all to evolve, guys. Okay, so thank you so much. Much love to you. Namaste, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.